Hey, welcome back to the Happy Place Diaries. I'm Jerry, and in this episode, we're going to talk about crazy weather. I mean, I get whole climate change, but like weekly? Stay tuned. We're going to talk about what we do to get through this crazy weather. All right, so welcome back again. Hey, look, we appreciate you guys coming by and paying us a visit. And again, we can't thank you enough. Let's dive in. So we went camping over the New Year's Eve weekend, and the temperatures dropped down to 19 degrees, freezing. Nothing broke except for our valve rods, and that got replaced. Really no harm, no foul. 2 weeks later, we went camping, and it was in the 40s. 2 weeks later, we went camping, and it was in the 20s. A couple weeks later, we went camping, and it was back up into the high 30s and 40s. And now we're in the 50s and almost 60s. But last week, here, it was 21. So how do we keep our trailer from freezing and de-thawing and then freezing and heating up and freezing, and how do we play the game? So I'm going to give you 4 things that we do to our trailer every time we go camping during this season, because we just never know what we're going to get. Okay, here's number 1. So number 1 starts right here in the kitchen sink or the galley sink, and that is we keep our valves open. So keeping the valves open allows no pressure to build up in our lines. Now, before we leave the campground, or like when we got home, I went ahead and hit my low point drain plugs. And one of the things that we did to help us with that is I went to Home Depot and I bought some valves, and I put those into my low point drain plugs because the 2016 Passport didn't come with that. You had to physically crawl under the trailer and unscrew a cap and then put the cap back on. Now, all I have to do is reach between the tires and turn the valve. I have a hot one and a cold one. So we go ahead and open those, and we leave them open. And we open the valves in the kitchen and in the bathroom and in the shower. So all of our valves are open, and that way no pressure can build in our lines. And really, there's no water in there. Nothing's going to freeze. So the other thing that we do is we go ahead and leave this little electric heater running. So leaving the heater running keeps the trailer inside nice and warm. And we open up the cabinets, and that keeps, our pipes from under the sink from freezing. It affects the hot water heater and, keeps all that cabinet that's under here from freezing. It's pennies to run this electric heater, so we might as well. We have the ability, so we do that. So the third thing we do is we make sure and drain our hot water heater. Every time we leave the camp, we drain the hot water heater. And the last thing that we do is we make sure that we keep our propane tanks full. Because if there's a super cold snap, we will run our furnace so that it will heat the underbelly of the rig. And, that way we don't have to worry about things freezing under there. So to recap, we make sure that all the water is out of our system. We dump our tanks. We hit the low point drains. We open up all of our valves. Number 2 is we make sure that the water heater is drained and there's no water in that. We run our space heater, and we keep our propane tanks topped off in the event that we need to run the furnace. And that's really how we get through these crazy weather ebbs and flows until about the end of March, here in Oregon anyway. And then, then we don't have to worry about it until next year. All right, well, hey, thanks for coming along. We appreciate you. We really appreciate you. And we'll see you in the next video.